Daf Yomi, Tractate Zevachim, page 78b. Top of the page, the words Ela min she'en b'mino betama min b'mino beruba. Rather, one must say that according to Reish Lakish, in a case of a type of food mixed with food not of its own type, such as wheat flour and rice flour, whose tastes are different, the status is determined by the flavor. Therefore, if the dough tastes like wheat, it has the halacha of a dough made from wheat. But if it is a type of food mixed with food of its own type, for example, a mixture of pigul and notar meat, which is the case addressed by Reish Lakish, the status of the mixture is determined by the majority. Unishar min b'minoi, kemin she'en b'minoi, it's not isoref b'yayin, ro'inoi seki'ilu humayim. My love, the Gemara suggests, let us estimate in a case of a type of food mixed with food of its own type, as though it were a mixture of a type of food mixed with food not of its own type. And if so, the minority is not nullified. If it is substantial enough to impart flavor to the majority, as we learned in the Mishnah, if the blood of an offering was mixed with wine, one considers it as though it is water. Although blood and wine certainly have different flavors, in the case of the Mishnah, the determinative factor is not the taste of the mixture but the appearance. Since they share the same appearance, they are considered a case of a substance in contact with the same type of substance. What, is it not correct to explain the Mishnah as stating that one views the wine as though it is water, meaning a substance of a different type, and if the mixture would have the appearance of blood, if the wine were water, it is fit for presentation, despite the fact that the blood is not the majority. Lo. The Gemara answers no. This is not the explanation of the Mishnah. Rather, it means that one views the blood as though it is water, meaning it is unfit for presentation, since it is as though one presented water on the altar. The Gemara questions this explanation, and so the Tana of the Mishnah should have said the blood is nullified. The odd Tanya Rabbi Yehuda hu yain adom im deha mareo kasher. And furthermore, it is taught in Braita to Sefta Mikvaot 7:4 with regard to a ritually impure bucket containing a certain amount of white wine or milk that one immersed in a ritual bath. Rabbi Yehuda says, although the appearance of the white wine or milk is not discernible in the water of the ritual bath that enters the bucket, one views the white wine or milk as though it is red wine, and makes the following determination. If its conjectured red appearance would pale due to the water that enters the bucket, the wine or milk is nullified by the water. Therefore, the act of purification is fit, and the bucket is ritually pure. Yehuda continues. But if its conjectured red appearance would not pale, the act of purification is unfit, and the bucket remains ritually impure. This is a case in which the substance was mixed with another substance of similar appearance, as white wine and milk have a similar appearance to the water, and yet it is treated as a mixture of a substance with a different type of substance, and it is not nullified in a majority. Tanya hi de Tanya, delish yesh bo yain lavon, oy chalav yitbilu, oy chinach ha'oiv. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, oy no sagilu hu yain adom, im deha mareo, kasher v'lav ha'sol. The Gemara explains one cannot cite a proof for the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, as this is a dispute between Tanaim, and the ruling follows the opinion of the rabbis who disagree with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, as it is taught in that Braita with regard to a ritually impure bucket in which there is white wine or milk, and one immersed it in a ritual bath, one follows the majority, meaning if the majority of the contents of the bucket is now water from the ritual bath, it is pure. Rabbi Yehuda says one views the white wine or milk as though it is red wine, and makes the following determination. if its conjectured appearance would pale. Due to the water that enters the bucket, the act of purification is fit, and the bucket is ritually pure. But if its conjectured appearance would not pale, the act of purification is unfit, and the bucket remains ritually impure. Uremino, and the Gemara raises a contradiction to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda from a Mishnah. See Mikvah 10:6. If one had an impure bucket that is filled with spittle, and one immersed it in a ritual bath, the spittle is considered an interposition between the water of the ritual bath and that of the bucket, and therefore it is as though he did not immerse it. If the impure bucket was full of urine and he immersed it, although the urine is slightly different in appearance than water, one views the urine as though it is water. And therefore, once the urine is in contact with the ritual bath, it is considered connected to the water, and it is not an interposition preventing the bucket from becoming ritually pure. Yeah, urine is mostly water anyway. It's very little substance there. It's mostly water. The Mishnah continues. If the impure bucket was filled with water of purification, the bucket is not purified until the water. The ritual bath that enters the bucket becomes greater in quantity than the water of purification it contains, thereby nullifying it in a majority. The Gemara explains the contradiction. Whom have you heard accepts the reasoning of one views, which appears in this Mishnah with regard to urine? It is Rabbi Yehuda, as stated in the Brayta cited above, and yet the Mishnah teaches that a majority suffices to nullify the water of purification that became mixed with water, and it is not considered as though it is red wine. This conflicts with the ruling of Rabbi Yehuda with regard to white wine and milk. Abai says this is not difficult.